Hi, welcome, I'm Sarah D. In my last post about shame, blame, and suffering, I mentioned that those who get stuck in the muck of shame and blame are the ones who perpetuate the cycle of dysfunction in their lives and in the lives of those who are in their circle of influence. So when something yucky gets stuck on you, you give it to somebody else if you don't process it properly. I made a reference to air, and I left you hanging, wondering what air had to do with shame, blame, and suffering. In today's post, after I sing Break the Cycle, which speaks to how we perpetuate the cycle of dysfunction in our lives and how to stop it, I'll explain how blame, shame, blame, and suffering relate to, I'll explain how shame and blame relate to more suffering for you and for others. Now, Break the Cycle. This song was inspired after an interview I heard by a famous singer, and he was making excuses for the sexual abuse he had been accused of perpetuating on young male children. And I don't have that challenge, but sometimes I get yuck on me, and when I'm not in a good place, I get yuck on you if you're too close to me. And so it's entitled Break the Cycle because I think that's the fire that began, that Billy Joel sang about. You know, we didn't start the fire, it's been always burning. The shame and the blame started with Adam and Eve. Anyway, Break the Cycle. People can be brutal when thinking of themselves and not the pain of others in their wake. The same old song is passed along, my parents done me wrong, so I don't hurt, I guess I'll take what I can, I'll take what I can get. No matter who I hurt or who cries out, I'll take what I can, I'll take what I can get. Is there no one else to think about? People can be heartless when they think they alone fight demons of doubt, despair, and hate. The same old song is passed along. It's really not my fault. I'm not to blame, it's just too late. So I'll take what I can, I'll take what I can get. No matter who I hurt or who cries out, I'll take what I can, I'll take what I can get. Is there no one else to think about? Aberrant behavior today is not justified by the past. Work hard and you'll find a way. Yesterday's pain doesn't have to last. If you break the cycle, break the chains, leave the hurt behind. Break the cycle, leave the pain, and freedom you will find. People can have power if they will commit to living life responsibly and kill the song once passed along that lied, and those deceived will live in chains till they choose to be free. And break the cycle, break the chains, leave the hurt behind. Break the cycle, leave the pain, and freedom you will find if you don't take what you can and don't take what you can get. No matter who you hurt or who cries out, don't take what you can, don't take what you can get. Break the cycle, break the chains, break the cycle, leave the pain. And when we leave the pain, we don't get our yuck, our pain on someone else. But then they're in a place to judge us and think that we don't know what difficulty is like, right? Because we are judgmental sorts. When we're not judging ourselves, or when we are judging ourselves, we judge others. And that's the way we are. So we got to forgive ourselves and just say, hey, try again, right? My intention with my channel is to encourage you to live a life that makes you feel good about being alive. Hopefully you won't have to take as long as I did to feel good about being alive, because I have shared and will continue to share some of my lessons with you as best I can. I spent decades being taunted by the darkness of self-loathing, despair, and despondency. I was diagnosed with borderline manic depressive disorder. The diagnosis seemed useful for a time. However, I refuse to identify myself with such a diagnosis now. I simply identify myself as a flawed human, just like you, struggling to make meaning out of life. Struggling to make the meaning out of life that blesses me, so I can in turn do my best to be a blessing. That is the formula for the kind of life I want to live that works for me when I follow that formula. Though I still feel and experience the anxiety, pain, and suffering common to humankind, I refuse to get stuck in their muck for too long. Aldous Huxley taught me that rolling in the muck was not the best way to get clean when I was in high school. This was at a time when I was very versed in the way rolling in the muck felt. I was very creative. Maybe that's where I learned to dance. It's taken a lifetime to get as far as I have in my muck releasing and cycle breaking journey. I took mood stabilizing medication for 10 years until I decided to stop, because no matter what cocktail of meds or how many depression studies I was in, nothing really helped me feel like the me I wanted to feel like. Today I use food supplements, diet, exercise, and consistently feeding. This is the most, I don't know, they're all important. Anyway, consistently feeding my mind non-condemning, non-shaming words, thoughts, and stories that point to truth, that help me navigate the suffering I still experience when I don't stay vigilant in taking the action steps I know work for me. Now, for those interested in the air suffering reference I made in my previous shame, blame, suffering video, here goes. Anyone who can breathe and does not breathe will suffer the physical responses not breathing brings. They'll eventually turn visibly blue, and even if their lips are sealed, we will see they are suffering. Can't silently suffer. There's more than audible sounds for suffering. If they continue not to breathe, they eventually will die. We're saying that if they pass out, somehow they still can't get air. We're kind of pretending here. Even though air was available to breathe, if they did not take it into their lungs, if they didn't embrace that which was there to nourish them, they would die. Their suffering and ultimate death would be their choice. It was nothing that was done to them. It was something they did to themselves because they refused to breathe. I claim we have everything we need to do everything we need to do today. And if we don't acknowledge and embrace and take advantage of everything we need, that we have to do everything we need to do, we won't be able to do it. We need air. We need to breathe. We need to release the shame and the blame and the suffering if we don't want to be a part of perpetuating that cycle. When we refuse to do all within our power to grow and to become the person we say we want to become, we become the person we say we do not want to become. We perpetuate all manner of dysfunction in our wake. If we cling to all abuse and burdens from our past as excuses for who we have chosen to become, we are metaphorically holding our breath, refusing to claim our power to be the wise creators of our reality. We are here to choose to become. If we shame ourselves and blame others for our part in becoming who we are, eventually we will, metaphorically, start to turn blue. This happens as we discover we have given our power away. When we believe we have no power in our lives, we live in the hell of powerlessness. If we remain here, eventually our will to live will die. For we are beings of power and worth. And when we do not believe we are, we suffocate. When we accept responsibility for who and where we are today, when we accept responsibility for our choices, we have the power to become whomever we desire. That is within our reasonable possibility. When we do not, we suffer more as we roll in the muck, shaming and blaming ourselves and others in a futile effort to get clean. Aldous Huxley wisely said, rolling in the muck is not the best way of getting clean. And I agree. I'm Sarah D. Make it a great day for you. And you in turn will have what you need to help somebody else feel encouraged to make it a great day for them